Okay, well, no figures today. I worked primarily on the bases, and no, this is not how far I got. It's just something I wanted to show you. This is how the base comes. It's resin. Of course, you gotta clean it up a little bit around the edges and whatnot. And I don't know if I'll be able to pick it up or not with this camera. So if I can, I'm sorry. That's the wooden walkway. Now there is a little bit of detail to it, but I just didn't feel it had enough detail. So what I did is I decided to put a little bit more of a wood grain on it. This is one of the ones I'm working on now, and as you can see, now you're not going to focus in on me. Come on. As you can see, maybe coming up, there we go. There's just a little bit more than a little bit, but there's more detail to this. And what I did is basically take an old X-Acto knife that's not exactly sharp anymore. It's one of my old that I use for just doing major stuff, that not the fine cutting on it. And what I did is I just basically scored in one direction with the back of the knife, not the sharp edge, but the back of the knife. And I just scored in one direction down each plank until I got the effect I wanted on there. And then one of the things you can do too, and by the way, this is the tip I got from Secret Weapons off their site, is you can dig out little bits and pieces here and there to add a little more damage, or to add knots, actually add knots to the wood. And then once that's done, this is basically how it turns out. And then, come on, get in focus, please, focus. There we go. Some of the wash is still drying in the crevices, but that's you can see how the wood grain is a little bit more pronounced. So it gave it a little bit more realistic, more realistic. Then what I did is I primed it, and then I painted it, and the groundwork here is, and it's probably not going to show up too well, but the groundwork on here is the Vallejo flat earth, and then I highlighted heavily with the graveyard earth from the GW line, and then I lightly went over the top of it with the what was it, the bubonic brown. And then I gave it the first thing I did is, after I put the flat earth on, is I gave it a wash with the Devlin mud. Then I dry brushed, and then I gave it a light wash over the top just to tone down the dry brushing. This one's not quite ready. It's got the metal bit from the shelter in the trench laying in the ground there, and then of course it's got my post for my figure in it. And then I painted the wood here. This is the initial stage of painting the wood, and that was done with the Vallejo what was it, yellow tan. And I was a little worried about it being too bright, and I was trying to figure out, because I've never done wood before, and I wanted it to look weathered and dirty. And of course, wood being exposed to the outside usually turns gray. So the first thing I tried is giving it a kind of a dry brush wash effect with Codex gray, not Codex gray, but the Fortress gray, and that didn't work. So then I went over that with some Devlin mud, and that still didn't work. So what I ended up with doing is doing it with black. Now that came from the site at Secret Weapon. Also, was the guy just mentioned the fact that he washed his. He was using real wood and he washed it with black. So I thought, well, this is close enough. So I gave it a wash with black, and then this is the final stage with all the washes and everything. And then once I'm done, now once this is dry, like I said, it's still drying in the crevices. Once that is dry, I'm gonna dry brush it with snake bite leather, and then hit it again with the bubonic brown. But the bubonic brown, I'm just doing a real light, basically on the edges, just to kind of give it some contrast. And basically, what you end up with is something like this. And that's the get in focus. There we go. That's the finished product. Camera's not doing it justice, really, but it's got. I decided to put some static grass on there, but you can see how the wood came out pretty heavily weathered, which it would be in the trench, you know, being exposed to the elements, the mud and whatnot. And then my idea of a trench is it's usually pretty muddy, so I tried to let's see if you can get a better picture on it like this. I tried to I don't have any water effect, so I made a little muddy spot there, and I've basically been coating it with heavy coats of the Vallejo gloss varnish and building it up, so hopefully that turns out. So it's still getting a little work in progress with it. The only real problem I had was putting the figure on the base. I didn't realize that when I super glued the peg into the figure, and then thought it was dry and stuck him on the base with this particular guy, and he ended up being kind of glued to the base, so I had to break him out of that. But I didn't realize that some of the super glue had built up on the inside of the hole, so when I went to put him on the base, he better example here, if it wants to focus for me. Come on, get in focus. Focus. There we go. His feet are just not quite touching, so I will probably have to break him off, and I might just go ahead and drill the hole just a slightly larger, and then go from there. But that's a minor problem. Then, of course, while trying to get him into the hole, I peeled some of the paint back from the edges of his uniform here, which is, again, that is not a major problem, because I plan on doing some battle damage to these guys, some chipping and some weathering to them, because, like I said, they're going to be on these muddy bases or these dirty bases. There's no sense in them being immaculately clean. So that's basically all I got done tonight. Well, got done so far tonight. I will probably have at least these two done tonight, and I'm hoping I got to figure out something for this, some coloration on there, and some colors on there, and probably rusting it out pretty good. So that'll be my first try with the MIG pigments, and then I'm going to be using the MIG pigments on the Space Marines to dust them up a little bit, add a few mud effects, and put some battle damage on them. So we'll see what's going on with that. So that's it for tonight. So thanks for watching. Go ahead and leave any comments. I appreciate all the positive comments and some of the suggestions that have been given. I take those to heart, and again, thank you for subscribing, for those of you who have, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, ciao.